welcome to this week's video. Now this week I want to talk about this guitar. I mentioned it last week. This was my second ever Fender Strat I got, and it's one of the 1980s standard Japanese Strats made in Japan. So I've been doing a little bit of research on it and wondering whether these are a good buy these days. I mean, I think I've ended up paying about 150 quid for this second hand, but I've just had it refretted and it sounds really nice. So I think without further ado I'm going to play a bit on it so you can hear what it sounds like, then I'll tell you about the guitar. So what I've got here, I've got the guitar going into the Milkman amp, which I don't know if you can see that in shot, with a loop pedal. And then what I'm going to do, this is a very low-tech method, I'm going to unplug the lead from that and plug it into my Marshall, which is down here for the more distorted tones. And I've got a loop pedal, as I say. So here we go. I'll just play you a bit first. So the front pickup. In-betweeny sound. So that's these two. Middle pickup. In your fourth position. And then the bridge pickup on its own. Let me just tune it, hang on. Right, I'm in tune now. It wasn't too bad actually, considering I just threw this in the case after the gig last night, grabbed it out, turned the camera on and started playing without thinking to tune it. It was almost in tune, which is pretty good, isn't it, for a 30-odd-year-old guitar. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to do a little bit with the loop pedal now. So, as I said before, into the Milkman from the loop pedal, and then I'm going to pull the lead out and whack it into the Marshall for some more driven tones at a reasonable volume. So, here we go. I say, I just got this refretted, and I've had it refretted with 6100 fret wire, so the biggest, pretty much the biggest you can get. And it was Roger Kelly, who taught me guitar from when I was about 12. He refretted it for me, and he's done a brilliant job on it, and I'm very pleased with it, because it sat for a long time not being played, this guitar. I had it kind of set up for slide, and I had it refretted back in the early 90s maybe, and the guy put big fret wire in and then completely flattened them down. Don't know why, couldn't afford to get it redone, so it's kind of not been used. And it was my second Stratocaster. I've got my American standard. In fact, let me show you that one. This one, which, you know, to the untrained eye, like one's wife or mum back in that time, looks like exactly the same guitar. But this was my first one, and I realised quite soon when I started gigging that I needed a spare guitar, because this guitar particularly used to break first strings all the time. So I managed to get another Strat, and the colour wasn't through choice, because I bought them both second hand off my next neighbour, who used to change his guitars about once every 3 months, and I used to buy the ones I liked off him. I bought, well, these two. Can't remember if I got anything else. My dad swapped his Ovation for one of them, and the other one I think I bought a Telecaster and I swapped it. Can't really remember. Anyway, so I ended up with two white Strats. So I hate instruments sitting around not being used, so I asked Roger if he'd refresh it for me, and I used it on the gig last night. So I'm going to show you this first bit of footage of me using it, see what you think. Apparently these Japanese Strats are quite sought after now. This one, judging by the serial number, was made in 1988, which is sort of consistent with when I got it. However, this isn't very original. If you can see here, I've got these sort of Graph Tech saddles, which I replaced the original sort of standard vintage style saddles with, because they basically completely rusted. I used to use this guitar a lot, and I had very sweaty hands. Well, I still have a bit, but they used to be much sweatier, and I'd corroded all of that. It's the original bridge, but the pickups are all different. That wasn't my fault, actually, to start with. It had three, I think they were called Seymour Duncan Hots, sort of overwound single coils in, which I can't remember what happened to two of them, but these I replaced with, I think, Seymour Duncan Alnico 2s, and this one is still the Seymour Duncan Hot that was in there when I got it. So that's all changed. Don't know what else is original. Oh, it didn't. This isn't the original scratch plate, because when I got it, it had a replacement tortoiseshell scratch plate put on, and I put a white one back on. But these guitars, I looked them up. So if I show you this, I think this is referring specifically to this model. That picture looks exactly like this guitar, down to the string trees and everything. And basically it looks as if this is essentially a Squier Strat that they continue to make in Japan when they moved the Squier brand to the Korean factories, and they continue to produce these guitars, which are essentially Squier Strats, but with the Fender logo on, which I thought was quite interesting. And I wonder what this was worth, and it's difficult to find ones exactly the same, but I found some sort of ranging from 750 quid to about 1200 quid, but they're all original, which this one certainly isn't. This is my most modified guitar, and it really, I didn't modify it because I wanted to particularly, but as I say, the pickups came modified. I think they broke two of the pickups, and I had to change this because it all rusted and wore out. But I don't see there's any harm in modifying a guitar when you have to repair it because you've worn it out through playing it. So it would be interesting to compare this to, say, a modern guitar that I don't know what the sort of price these would be now, and whether the more up-to-date ones would be better. So I'm just wondering whether this might be a good buy as a kind of vintage. It seems weird to me having a guitar that's vintage that I bought brand new, or almost brand new, in my lifetime. I don't think I'm that old. So anyway, I'm going to show you another clip from the gig last night because I was really pleased with the way this sounded through the amp, so see what you think. Enjoyed the video. I'm going to leave you with one more solo after this. Please hit like, hit subscribe, leave me a comment. I shall be bringing out new videos every Friday, 7 PM UK time. So I hope to see you next week.